Now, there's a lot of female farmers who are interested, and they're multiplying seed, as you can see there on that side. That is in Afgoy. And we're also working on something called traditional, to improve the traditional grain storage system. I don't know if you guys are familiar, you know, when farmers harvest their crop, they store under the ground, wherever they are. Bakar. And that bakar causes a lot of problems. And some of the problems caused by the bakar is loss due to insects, loss due to diseases. And then there is also another big danger for a virus or a bacteria called aflatoxin that causes, in fact in the bioregion they call it bear food, because it causes a liver problem. So by using this system, so you have a lot of problems associated with that. So what we're trying to do in collaboration with FAO and other agencies to introduce a new system called household metal silos. So this is metal silos above ground that at least the crop can be protected from insects, from diseases, from moisture, and from the problem of aflatoxin that causes a liver problem. And I think Dr. Sharif Abdul Qadir, we were talking recently about this. He's a medical doctor, and I didn't know that he was aware about all of this, but he was telling me that back in Somalia, before the civil war, there's a lot of problem that's associated with aflatoxin problems, which is mainly a liver problem. So I think by introducing this new system, we can overcome these problems. And we have already, we have developed some sort of like distributed 2,000 metal silos in the bioregion now. And we are taking this into other regions, Somaliland and Puntland. We do training on the ground. We train some of the people that are based in Somalia. We train them on how to test new technologies. Like for example here, you'll see people here testing some maize varieties that were introduced from one of the international agricultural research centers. And then what they do is they test against the local variety, and if they see it superior, then they disseminate, they multiply seed, and they spread it to other farms. And we also do some monitoring and evaluation for projects that require to be monitored. Now, let me move shortly to donor dependency syndrome and the involvement of NGOs. All agriculture projects are donor funded. So I think this habit of donor funding, that's something that's destroying ourselves, because you know we all try to go to the donors to get some sort of funding for this. But this problem, this donor funding is associated with the lack of long-term sustainable projects, because donors nowadays, they're funding very short-term, because the whole country, they tell you, is under emergency. But it's not true. Yes, you can have an emergency in South Central, but there's no emergency in Somaliland and Puntland. So you can have long-term sustainable projects in this area. So that's what we're trying to push and understand the donors, that we need to go for long-term sustainable projects. Projects lasting not more than a year, short-term interventions, and no interest for long-term commitments. Projects designed, this is really very difficult part, because most of the projects are designed by NGOs sitting somewhere outside the country. So, and then these are taken into the country and introduced to the people. So there is a lack of participation from the local people to really designing the projects and what needs to be done. Limited input from Somali professional groups, lack of experienced professional and effective coordination mechanism. So you will find that each NGO is running with a project, whether it's Somali or non-Somali. You know, there's a problem. We should not blame only the international NGOs. We also need to blame the Somali NGOs as well, because sometimes you see that very narrow-minded, very strictly tribal-based, family-based, all these kinds of things you will see. But I think we need to get over that, because wherever you are in Somalia, your intervention is required and needed. Lack of transparency and accountability. Most of the donors and international NGOs, they're based in Nairobi. Probably you're all aware about this. And some of the major NGOs that work in the agriculture and livestock sector include FAO. There's an Italian NGO called CHIMS, CEFA, Agrosphere, Consel, Save the Children, GTZ, Care for PHS. So where is the local involvement in this area? So most of the way the system works, that these are the NGOs that get the donor funding, and then they engage the local NGOs to do the work. And that's how the system works. It's very unfortunate, but that's how the system works. Just quick example on some donor funding projects that's conducted in Somalia. This is a picture that I've taken from recently from Somaliland. This is used to be called Abu Rain Research Station. I don't know if you guys, somebody, yeah, Abdurrahim, probably you remember Abu Rain. So we had 3 or 4 research stations back in the old good days. One was Central Agricultural Research Station, one was Bi-Region Agriculture Development Research Project, and one was Abu Rain, and then we had one in Alexandria. So I paid a visit to Abu Rain just to see how the research ended up. So there was some projects that came into Abu Rain to renovate or to introduce research back. But this was project-based, and this was very short-term project-based. So a lot of money was spent, but what you see, you will see signs here of whoever NGO who worked in that area, but the place remained the same. There's no change with all the money that was spent. And you can see that another picture, another big label there. It's good that at least they left behind a label so that we know who was engaged there or who was doing there. So, and then there's some machineries that they brought in for, I think, planting or fertilizer distribution that has never worked. They have, because these were research plots, probably people were not prepared for this kind of equipment. And then there's another seed sorting machine that they have put, and it was dismantled. So if the project is not sustainable, I think there's no point of introducing this much money into the ground without having a sustainable system. And if you have a technology transfer system for 1 year, this one doesn't work, it's clear. And we know that because research or technology testing and all the things is a long-term commitment and is long-term plan. Where the future lies. So this is like for the diaspora group here, you guys, we're all having good time in Nairobi, but sometimes we go travel to Somalia as well. But the thing is that we have 2 options. Either people in the diaspora, we say the status quo until peace, security and working government are restored. So that is an easy solution, I think, to the Somali crisis, because we can all sit here and say, we'll wait for peace to come. But the second option that we as SATG took is that a move towards a sustainable agriculture and economic development, irrespective to the current condition on the ground. So that's the option that we have taken. It's very challenging, it's difficult, the terrain is not like friendly, but there are places where some work can be done. But then the question comes, when you take this option, how would you do it? I think if we engage all stakeholders, especially in the agriculture sector and livestock, farmers, commercial buyers, consumers, input suppliers, seed producers, local and international NGOs, as well as the TFG, probably we can do something. And we can change the terrain. And look for technology and technical support as well. And there are a lot of international research centers who are engaged in technology that we can easily have an access to, like the CG Center. CG means Consultative Group for International Agricultural Research. So these are where the technology lies, where the technology sits. You can borrow technology and introduce it easily by testing it for short term and then implement it. Engage the agriculture professionals, research, regional research centers, as well as academic and regional, as well as international institutions. And the diaspora can also play a major role here, because I think there's a major role for the diaspora, in particular, like changing the policies of the countries that we live. Here we are in Canada. We know that there are 2 research centers. There are 2 international centers. One is IDRC, International Development Research Centers, and one is CIDA. These are engaged in supporting research and development programs. So the diaspora can engage these people through the whatever connections that they have, at least to make sure that they invest in long-term sustainable projects. This is my last slide, I suppose. Despite all the problems that we see in Somalia, there are some success stories. So one of the success stories probably is sesame production in Somalia is becoming a booming industry, despite all the problems. And in south central Somalia, you will see a lot of commercial buyers There is a lot of network in the market. Sesame is produced. Probably you have sesame here in Canada as well. Yeah, sesame oil. So this is like a market-driven. But then, you know, the elements of research and that all is missing. But this is a market that's evolving itself. And then there is a lemon industry also, you know, dried lemons, people are importing it. And livestock industry is a big industry as well in Somaliland and Puntland, as well as South Central Somalia. And then, as you know, that there are a lot of community-supported academic institutions. These are really success stories. You go to Somaliland or Puntland, you will see like many universities operating, even though they are not coordinated. But at least the base is there where technology testing and transfer can easily go, and we can easily start in this field. I think with this I'll come to an end to my presentation. I will leave you with this last slide, and thank you for listening.